first things first is to make sure that it's off. Second is to go and undo the air relief valve. What that does, air comes into it, making the water just drain down. It's gonna just flow backwards, back into the pool. It's safe enough for you to go ahead and start undoing the clamp. And so it's this stainless steel clamp that's all the way around here. You just start by untying it. But even before I get ahead of myself, just pay attention to the gap that's in between here. Because when you go and you retighten it, that's about the same tightness that you wanted when you tighten it again. Okay. Just to keep that in mind.
Got you.
Yeah.
The gap is increasing now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if the gap is bigger by the time you tighten it, then you know that you don't have it quite as tight. So I mean, it's common sense there. I actually should have brought the lube and a rag. That's really all that you need. Sometimes WD-40 if you need to clean it, but if you clean it regularly, you probably won't need it as much. So there's the clamp there. Your locking nut. If you just lift it straight up, and then all you have to worry about when you're putting it back together is that this is clean, wiped down with the rag and some water. And right here is your O-ring. So I'll go back to the truck and get my lube and WD-40 and a rag, so that way we can go and clean this.
Great.
Because that's the important thing, is that this here is clean. Like it's normal for it to have some buildup because it turns on and off, but there's going to be some quick debris that's all on this lip here. But you clean that, clean the O-ring. We're going to put a little bit of lube on there and then put it back. So this outer lip is all that you have to worry about. Yeah, there's a little bit of debris in here. You would use, I mean, I shouldn't even be showing this to you. This is a drain plug. You would undo that to drain all this, but these tend to break and they're just too much of a pain where I don't even mess with them anymore. Okay. So unfortunately, yeah, there is going to be a little bit of debris and stuff you'll see here. So all that happens is that when you turn it back on, some of this is going to blow back into the pool, which is not a big deal. That's better than you trying to, put the effort to try to clean it up and all that. So yeah, it's not a big concern. It's more so clean this lip right here where the O-ring actually sits.
Okay.
Throw
just regular WD-40.
Yeah, and a little bit as far as lubing, but it's more so just to clean it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all we want to do. Make sure that guy is clean. Again with the lube. I mean, we're just talking like about that much. That'll take care of the whole O-ring. And you're just gonna go in, go around and just lightly coat it. It does two things. It not only lubes it, but then it just also protects it. Because when these guys get old, they get little tiny cracks. And those cracks will make it leak. Okay. So you can still get these O-rings, but you might as well make them last by just doing this. So
preventive maintenance.
When it fits on there way too easy and it's not snug, then you know it's time to replace it.
Okay. Stretch out.
Yeah, if it's that's what exactly. If it stretches out and if it fits on there too easy, then it's not going to work. So the tank here where it sits on, same deal. Just a little bit of WD-40 to help clean it up, because this is the lip that it's going to sit on.
Okay.
And you just want to make sure that's clean so you don't have any problems resealing it.
All right.
All right. This guy does have a top and a bottom. The top is solid here, and whereas the bottom has these openings, and that's important because then the water flow will not be as good if it doesn't have these openings.
Gotcha.
So this is always the bottom, and it even says right there bottom. So,
okay. But
that's the only important thing about the cartridge itself. You just make sure that this guy doesn't snag in the middle, so I just kind of look over it to make sure it falls in. All right.
Perfect.
Now this guy, same deal. You want it to face you so you can see the pressure on it. Gently put it down, and now the tank is the same size as the lip, so you want to center it to where it's even and it's flush.
Okay.
And it'll move a little bit when you put on the clamp, but you're gonna do the same thing. So where you're gonna tighten it at, you first put it on and slide it, but then just keep paying attention to the lip here. You'll see little openings where if you have to center it, you can. Okay. Getting ahead of myself. Here's a WD-40. Just throw some on the threads there, so it makes it easier for this guy to get on there.
Okay.
The WD-40, and sometimes you can throw a little lube to make it easy, but I usually haven't had problems with this guy. You can let it catch here a little bit, and then I'll throw just a little bit more. Again, you're just making it easy on the threads on this guy. All right. So, and we're gonna go and tighten it. And again, you're gonna pay attention to that gap, that same gap that we had before. You want to retighten it, just the same. And I usually use this guy. And the opposite end of where the gap is at, you just kind of give it a little bit of a tap while you're holding it, and you'll see that it tightens up a little bit. Okay. I mean, you do all this just that way you get it done right the first time. Right. Put it together once, and it shouldn't leak, shouldn't give you any problems. And you'll just keep tightening until you get to as close as you were to that last gap that we had. But you'll feel it too. It's a feel thing. It'll be a little harder to tighten when it gets closer to that gap.
Okay.
So right about there, it's feeling a little tough. Yeah. All right. It's good. Just a little tiny squirt, either with the WD-40 or the lube. You're gonna put that also on the air relief valve here. It's got just got a little bit of threads and O-ring at the end. It doesn't need much because there's not as much pressure up here. There's more pressure on the tank. But all right. And I mean, while I have everything on, I might as well show you the pump-lid O-ring, what I was talking about. We should go ahead and empty it anyways. You know about the rock, let's just use there as an anchor, as a weight. And doesn't have to be perfect, but just enough to make it run good again. Okay, and with the water that is in this pump, that's what I usually use to just rinse out the lip. So, you know, this guy here, the lip is what you want clean. And then the same deal with the pump lid itself. There's your O-ring. You know, you can use a little water in the rag to clean it up. And just a very, again, a light amount. This doesn't really have to be done every week, every time that you empty it, but it's probably a good idea to do that about once a month, I would say. Okay. So in other words, every time that you do the filter cleaning, it's a good idea to go ahead and do this. And it's just a very, very light coat. You're protecting the O-ring and lubing it up.
Yeah.
And the same thing how I said about first tighten it to where it first grips. Same thing on the other side. It's all about feel. And then I kind of just tighten them together in unison to where they're the same. That feels good and that feels good. You don't want to over tighten it where it pinches the O-ring.
Right.
Okay.
That's good.
And then the last thing is that as far as repriming goes, everything is sealed up and tightened. This guy takes about a minute, but then once you hear that it's priming up, and then you start to hear that the bubbles are coming out of the pool, then that's when you want to undo the air relief valve.
Okay.
It's just lefty loosey, righty tighty, and it has a steady stream. That's when all the air has come out, and then you just tighten it back up. You don't have to untighten it all the way. It's just a little bit to get the water flowing. Okay. Otherwise, it pops out and you can lose it. That'll be another thing.
Oh, really?
If
you don't let the air escape, you could create problems.
The problem would just be it wouldn't be as efficient because the pump is trying to move water with the air bubble fighting with it. You want the whole tank to be full of nothing but water. You know, if you have an air bubble here at the top and the pump's trying to move water, it's also pushing up against the air bubble. So that decreases the circulation. So you just want this guy to be full of nothing but water.
All right.
All right.
Excellent.